Today on Peliculas with the Bros, we review the movie Women Talking, directed by Sarah Polly, and we have a couple hot takes like women talking is just women talking, and
Women talking? Women should be talking.
What's
up, bro?
And welcome everybody to the show. This is Peliculas with the Bros. My name is Adrian.
My name is Ivan.
And Peliculas with the Bros is a show where me and my brother Ivan talk about a movie. Every week we discuss a new movie. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Women talking.
And you better listen, bitches. But before we get into that, Peliculas with the Bros. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Like I said, this is a show where me and my brother Ivan talk about a movie. Every week we do the same thing. We talk about a new movie, usually one that comes out in theaters. Women Talking has been on our forbidden list to watch, and
We strictly try not to watch movies about women.
Yeah,
especially progressive ones.
it's a big no here in the.
We want to stay manly.
Yes.
No women. No.
We're kidding, but the reason we picked it was probably because we recognize that Ivan likes to watch movies like Black Adam.
I thought we picked it for the Oscars.
Oh, that too. So we try to do something different, and we're doing something different. So we're not watching a movie that just came out. We're watching a movie that's been out. Next week we're probably gonna do a movie like Knock on the Cabin.
I think so. M. Night Shyamalan.
New movie. But anyways, if you like that kind of thing, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We'll be back next week with a new episode. And lastly, before we get into the movie, let us know what you think about Women Talking. Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you feel ambivalent towards it? What have you? Ivan, are you ready to take notes while women do the real work?
No. It's going to be a bloody podcast. Let me just tell you that right now.
He's not going to go silent.
No.
Ivan does not feel a shred of remorse for these women.
I'm not the problem.
Oh. That's just the attitude.
I'm the solution.
Oh, God. Ivan, what's the movie of the week?
Women Talking.
Written and directed by Sarah Polly, the premise of this movie: in a small, isolated Mennonite colony, the women of three families must make the life-altering decision of whether the women of the colony should stay, leave, or fight the men of the colony. This decision must be made as the women have been repeatedly raped by the men of the village. Ivan, with the cast of Rooney Mara as Ona, Claire Foy as Salam, Jessie Buckley as Merrick, Judith Ivey as Agatha, Ben Winshaw as August, Frances McDormand as Scarface Jans, and Sheila McCarthy as Greta. I know.
That's like a mafia name.
I know when I read it, I was like, Scarface Jans. I do not recall them calling her that. But she did have a Scarface.
Yeah.
The director is Sarah Polly, as we mentioned at the top of this podcast. A little bio about her. Child actress.
Was in.
She played. Remember that book in elementary, Ramona?
No.
It was like it's like similar to I think it's similar to Babysitter's Club, where it's like very
Ramona Beezus.
Yeah, something like that.
And that like rhymed.
Maybe it was in a chapter book, but yes.
Okay.
She played that in Canada, and she was famous as a child doing that. She went on to become an actress, but she shifted her career more towards writing and making movies. Her movies thus far are Away from Her, Take This Waltz, and she made a documentary in 2012-ish called Stories We Tell. It's a documentary about her family, primarily her parents and their relationship, which garnered her a lot of acclaim. Her other movies were kind of critically hailed as well, but I am not going to sit here and act like I know her style, because I don't. I've only seen this film, and I probably won't watch her other films.
Wow.
The most interesting one to me seems like stories we tell her dog.
They all seem interesting to me. I don't know.
Well, Ivan, I'm not a good person,
Ah,
and
that.
and you are.
Yeah.
And as a would be father, I need to get better as a man.
Debata-
Given
Debatable, but continue.
given that I am gonna have a girl myself,
A daughter.
a daughter,
A daughter.
daughter, and my daughter,
My
Ivan,
daughter. You should cry. My daughter.
my daughter, she deserves Jersey boy sliders every day.
Beautiful boy, be daughter. The Jersey boy go slider.
How do you, how do you? I need to take like an acting class, but only for accents.
Like, ironically.
Yes, I just want to be able to do the Jersey accent consistently, Italian accent. Not like, I guess I just want New York accents or American.
Just
American.
like
Yeah.
regional accents.
Yes. I want the Chicago accent. I want the New York accent.
Instead
but-
of languages, you learn accents.
Oh God, so weird. But okay, Sarah Polly. I don't know her style. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I do, but I do know that her movies are oriented towards the viewpoint of women, which you don't get much in movies, right? Not to say that there isn't any, but she does that. She has the woman point of view, and I think that's a good thing for movies in general. And her movies are kind of tinged with her own experiences. She is, she has talked about sexual abuse and her own issues with that in her life. So I think this movie is kind of geared towards her in the just because it's like something that interests her, right? So there's that. I've been here on Peliculas with the Bros. We like to look at how the sausage was made. So turn on that sausage maker. Get that Polish sausage casing ready as we are about to fill that thing up with some ground beef. This movie, oh, he turned it off. It's based off a book
Yes.
released in 2018. It's a novel. The story is the story of what happened to the woman is generally true. The the movies is actually like more of an original story because it's based off more so not the actions that happened but like what happened afterward, and I think that's more made up.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, Frances McDormand optioned the book, and her and her producing partner were looking for someone to direct, and their first option was Sarah Polly, and we have this movie. Going into this movie, I was thinking, I shouldn't even say that. Before the end of this year, this last year, I wanted to watch this movie because I knew it was critically hailed, and I was like, I gotta watch this because I was trying to make my top 10 of the year. But I didn't get a chance to watch it. For you, what were your expectations? Where did you hear about this movie?
I've heard the name for a bit. I don't know how long. Then I heard the Oscars announcement,
Uh-huh.
and that's when I knew it existed. Like, it finally existed in my mind instead of just the name.
Mm-hmm.
And then I watched I didn't watch a trailer. I think I looked at like an image or something.
Yeah.
And watched the movie. But I don't think I had too many expectations. I was slightly excited because it looked like a nice little talkie movie.
Ah.
Let's see what this is about.
Right. Don't talk about how good it was or how bad it was. Isn't it crazy that a award ceremony is like, maybe it's not your barometer, but it's like once it's there, you're like, okay, now you piqued my interest.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that. I mean, it's okay if it's that way, and it's okay if the award ceremony that we're talking about was a little bit more culturally
Relevant.
important
Yeah.
or in the know. But the Oscars is kind of like more of a baseline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine all the movie, like whether this movie is good or not. Imagine all the movies that you haven't seen, just because you haven't heard of him.
But I've seen a lot of movies that weren't nominated for Oscars.
That's true.
Unsung hero, those movies.
Yeah.
It evens out, I think.
I think so too. Ivan, after watching Women Talking, what'd you think?
It's good.
Wow.
Sophisticated.
Yeah. And it's also like it's good, and I respect what these women went through. Like it's so much right there. Like there's respect. There's you're sad as well. It's like you're impacted.
Go on.
Speak for me, man, because that's not what I felt, buddy. You're making it sound good.
Do my work for me.
You liked it.
Yes.
What'd you like about it?
Finally a movie without men. It's not me.
I know.
Finally a movie without men. Right?
Right.
That's it.
There's two men in this.
I don't want to talk about those
You're
fiends.
Right.
What was the question? Why'd I like it?
Yeah. Like what is it?
I mean, I didn't love it.
Okay.
And it's not really because of what it was, just I think it wasn't really geared towards me.
Yeah.
Even though that's kind of like, I think it is specifically geared towards men, right?
I think it's more, I don't think it's like, it's not geared towards me. I think it's more like, it's not, it's not tickling the bone that I want to be tickled.
Look. It's like there's a protest against something that happened tragically.
Yes.
And then I'm holding up
the flag against the opposition.
Yeah. And I'm like, protest this. I'm that movie. The movie is me. Protest this. But then the guys they're protesting against are like, it's not me. Like I'm not, I don't really care.
Right.
But
okay.
I don't know where I was going with this. I get the message. I'm not saying like, oh, they're wrong.
Yes.
Right?
No, you're saying that you like the movie.
Yeah.
You're just saying that it's not like top 5 movie of the year for you because it's not your type of movie.
I think it's more that like I already kind of know the message. Like it's not something.
What a man to say that.
I'm already evolved as a human being. Like when it started, I was like, I'm trying to figure out what the situation is, right?
Uh-huh.
And then the whole thing is like, do we stay or leave? And at the start, I was like, well, leave. That's my decision.
Yeah.
Without hearing anything. And by the end, that's what they did, right?
Yeah.
So if I was there, 2 minutes, that's how long the movie was going to be.
I think if you were there, you would be that 14-year-old girl that's like, this is boring. Let's just leave.
But like she was technically right.
Yeah.
But like for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
But
she's actually more not for the wrong reasons. Because
at the end they leave and the reasoning was like it's the most loving option to leave.
Yes.
Like for everyone.
Yes.
But my reasoning is like let's leave because they suck and we're better. Right? Right, girls? So in the end it's the same choice, but different mentalities why they leave.
Yeah.
And like at the end I was like, does that matter? Like the intention of why you do a thing if it's the same action?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the director was like intending that, like think a little deeper why you do things, not just.
I think that's what one of the characters was specifically vouching for.
What?
The Ona character.
Oh.
Where she's like, if we leave,
right,
we have to leave with like, what are we gonna do after? Like, why are we leaving?
Right.
So, yeah. No, you're right. But what I think about the movie,
You think?
Forget what you think about the movie. What I just kidding.
Okay.
What I think about the movie is it's powerful. I liked it, first of all.
Yeah.
It's powerful, it's moving, it's sad, but even though it's not a movie about like the backstory is that these women got sexually abused, but the movie isn't about that. It's more about like how women retake their power and make the decision to just choose their life, the life that they want.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself, that made the movie to me optimistic more
Mm-hmm.
so than sad. You know,
Yeah.
like the movie didn't feel it did. There was a lot of moments that was like, oh god, that's horrible. But primarily, I felt like uplifted by the movie, not more like on the downtrodden side.
Yeah.
Um, and compared to the movie that we talked about the week before, which was The Whale,
Mm-hmm.
this movie felt similar where it's a play
Okay. Yeah.
because it's like all in one room basically and they're talking the whole time. Other than like there's like flashback sequences, but they're primarily to sort of break up that play feel of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then thinking about it, it made me think like that's how you do a play movie, you know?
All right. Don't badmouth the whale.
Just because like look, The Whale's great. I gotta give it to it. It's great. What Brendan Fraser did as
So you wanted flashbacks from in the whale?
no, what I mean by this is how you do a play with women talking is like you kind of have to break it up,
Mm-hmm.
but you all more importantly you have to create a scenario that is believable
Right.
and not so because there's no all the action that happens in this it does happen in that room
Mm-hmm.
just like in The Whale, but it's no one's coming in and like creating the action. It's like the action already happened. Now we just have to come up with a resolution, and that in itself is the action.
Okay.
In any case, this is how you do a good movie that could have been a play too.
Understood.
Let's talk about the plot a little bit. So again, there's a woman. There's women in a colony. The colony is kind of like it's a Mennonite colony. I like to compare it to like Amish in my head. That kind of just makes equivalent sense to me. But the women of this colony, they can't read or write.
Mm-hmm.
That's tragic.
Oh,
Oh God, I even know. Go back to Iran.
back?
Yeah,
Ivan in Iran.
Ivan. It's actually Iran, so you'd be Ivan.
Ivan in Iran.
Yeah, what a movie.
Yes.
Hey, you're like holding a flag as the movie poster on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
So there's these women in the colony. They can't read. They can't write. They're sexually abused. They're sexually abused by men of this colony. They don't really explicitly say like who are the men. They just say that there's men in the colony that tranquilized us with cow tranquilizer. Sexually abused, and they said that it was demons or
Demonos.
it was demons, and that uh, if you think it's anything else, it's like a figment of your imagination. And the women are like, no, we can't take this anymore. And they don't show this in the movie, but the men of the colony, the people that perpetrated this, get sent to jail, and then all of the men of the colony go and bail the men out.
Yep.
So they have 2 days, the women, to decide: are we gonna stay and keep going through this? Are we gonna leave, or are we gonna fight the men? A key thing though is that they don't show the sexual abuse; they just show the aftermath
Yeah.
in a couple of scenes, and I think that's good because like I for one don't need to watch that.
Mm-hmm.
I think about the movie we watched with
Blonde.
what?
Blonde.
That's a good one, but no, the one with Ben Affleck and Adam Driver in the Middle Ages.
Oh.
Dang it,
Blade Runner guy.
Blade Runner guy. Now you're making it more confusing.
Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott. the last duel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the last duel where they showed the scene.
What a flick. What a flick.
It was a good movie, right?
Yeah.
They showed the scene, and I'm like, I guess I don't need to watch that. And the movie is not this movie is not about that, right?
Yeah.
It's trying to do something else. So the women have until 2 days to make their decision, and then we're left with their decision, and that's the movie that we watched here. And the look of the movie is almost like desaturated up until like it's almost black and white, which gives it a cool look. And that look also gives it a horror vibe to me, which I thought the movie was going towards.
Mm-hmm.
Once you felt like the movie wasn't, because you had like no idea, right, what the movie was about. Once we got 20 minutes in, did you feel like we were gonna get about bad juju, bad outcomes, a fight? What'd you think was gonna happen?
Nah. I just felt like it was going to be 2 hours of them.
Talking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like, oh, God. 2 hours of this.
Actually, it was like 150, which was
Yeah.
I was happy.
But like it's one of those movies where I was like looking at the clock, like, okay, how many minutes? Got here at this time, approximately 15 minutes. Okay, let's go.
Okay. What were you doing that? Because you're like, okay, I'm gonna get. If there's 30 more minutes, that means that maybe they're gonna have to fight someone, or they're
No, just I wanted it to be over.
Okay, but not in a bad way, or were you
just are you trying to save me now? I hated it. Well, that's what I want.
Why are you waiting it for it to be over?
I was just getting bored.
Okay.
To be honest.
Is it because women talking is just
inherently boring?
Ivan, I wasn't gonna. I'm saying the movie Women Talking.
If it's there, I'm gonna go for it.
Okay.
Like that's just me.
What a man! What a man to say that.
Come on.
Is it because when
the movie
Women Talking? No.
Round 2.
Is it because people talking for 2 hours is just too much for you? Or is it because this type of talking?
I think it's because I think it is realistic, but there's moments where I was like, all right, you're kind of saying can you stop yelling sort of thing? Can you talk about the actual problem? And in the movie, they say that they're like, look, all you've been doing is yelling. How about you shut up?
Yeah.
And I like that part.
Yeah.
But then it happened again and again. And then like the cycle of that's when I was like, can just reason it out, please.
Right.
But like, obviously they went through something horribly traumatic,
mm-hmm.
and they're going to have different feelings. And sometimes it's hard to control. Like it's hard to be logical when like the feelings just burst out of you.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying like, oh, they should cut out half of this movie. Like it needed everything.
It goes back almost to your personal taste.
Yeah,
right?
it's just
like,
taste.
Okay. I did feel for the whole time tension though, because I felt like I still had that horror vibe, and I always felt like the men were coming back. I'm like, God, we got to get out of here before these men come back. And there was a scene, it was almost near the end when there's like a grandma walking down the stairs, and the guy was there like looking at her. I'm like, that guy's going to push her down the stairs. Even though he was like the nicest guy in the world, this guy can't be trusted. He's a man.
I did think like, I don't know how easily the men would have let them leave if it actually happened.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it kind of did happen, right?
Yes.
Maybe they just like, oh, okay, like we don't need them, sort of thing. And then like a day later, like, I don't know how to cook,
right?
Sort of thing. I don't know.
But that's the thing. The men were out. They weren't.
I thought they came back at the end with the.
Only one of them was back.
Oh, they were out.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. That part was kind of confusing to me too. I had to read about it later.
Because I thought, honestly, the whole time I thought they were around, and like 2 of them went to like pick up the bros.
Right. Oh, God. Hey, let's pick up the bros.
Pick up the broskies.
Imagine Amish guys, like they're just typical bros.
Ooh. Bro. But yeah, I thought the two of them like left, and then the men were like in their homes.
Yeah.
The women were like, "Oh, we're gonna go sew. Don't worry about all of us leaving at once,"
Yes.
sort of thing.
Yes. 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 I get that. The the dynamic of the women in this basically farm shed
Mm.
who are discussing the fate of the colony are there are three families, right?
Mm-hmm.
And but primarily we're hearing the arguments for three cases told by three different women because as revealed as we get through the movie, like each woman kind of is arguing for one specific thing. So there's the what do we have here? We have the Ona character who is played by Rooney Mara, and she's kind of like super optimistic,
The smart one.
smart one, super optimistic, and probably like the nicest one, most
She's like a little realistic.
yeah, level-headed.
Yeah.
And she's like, we should leave, right?
Let's just go.
And then there's
Let's
the
dip.
there's the Salam character who's played by Claire Foy,
Mm-hmm.
and she's just like so pissed off,
The rage.
and she wants to fight, which I never understood throughout the movie. I'm like, how are you women gonna fight the men?
How are you? Oh, not like that.
No,
Oh, my bad.
just well,
How
I
are-
guess kind of
How
like
are
that,
you women gonna fight the men?
because like, just realistically,
yeah.
men have more strength. Than women.
Yeah.
But I get like basically it was gonna be like,
Blood.
yeah, like we're gonna die, so let's just kill them.
Yeah, like just logic her out sort
Uh-huh.
of thing. Like if it happened, like just are you like what's the aftermath?
Right.
Like best case scenario, some of you live and then all the men are dead.
Yes.
But like how will you live, sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
It just
And then there's the Marike character played by Jessie Buckley, and she's also mad too, but she's kind of like the bitch of the group. And she's
I
like,
think that's offensive.
no. Men can be bitches too. And she's just like, let's stay.
Let's stay.
Like we can, like if we leave, we're defying God.
Yeah.
If we fight, we're defying God.
Mm-hmm.
Let's stay. We'll make things work. It won't happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big aspect of the film, but they don't touch about it too much. Is the God, the religious aspect? You know, like they're doing things in the name of God. Like if we leave, we're basically leaving God, and like we can't be really, we can't be women of God
Faithful.
if we leave. Which I didn't really understand, but that's neither here nor there. In any case, though,
Any case?
the way like the dialogue is written, I said it before, but it's very optimistic. Like it's hard for me to explain, but the way they like rationalize their thought process out and how they think out loud makes me realize like the power of just like communication and the power of words.
Right.
And these women are really like thinking out like, okay, what are the good things if we leave? What are the bad things if we leave?
Yeah.
If we fight? And just hearing them out and their thought process is like, it's pretty interesting. It kind of makes me think of our boy Sorky.
Sorky.
Yeah, like how he's like, there's good in this world, you know?
Yeah.
Like we gotta fight, and we're gonna be okay.
Yes.
And just that idea, but it's a lot more realistic than a Sorkin movie.
Yeah.
Like you're not so like, we can fight these people. It's more just like, there's way we could do this. There's a positive outcome. And there's elderly ladies in this. They're like basically moms. They're in this shed with them too, and they're more like the stabilizers. Like when things are going crazy, they're like, all right, ladies.
Get real.
No, they don't do that.
Oh.
They're more like, all right, ladies, we gotta calm down. Let's pray, or let's sing a hymn.
Yeah.
And that too is almost like,
I think it's like a in those tuning forks, like ding
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's them.
They're definitely like meditators.
Yeah.
And there's I don't know what it is with me lately. I think it's like the past 3 years or 2 years. But
Past 80 years.
I think it's actually since shout out to our boy Kanye West. Ever since he released the blue one, was it? God is
Oh, Jesus is King.
Jesus is King. I'm like, dang, religious music is sick, man. And something about the way these women sing their hymns, it's like therapeutic, even for the viewer.
Side tangent
Go.
that you will hate.
I love it already.
Elvis Presley.
Oh, got it. You had to start it like that, though.
I have to prime you for how much hate this will get.
Subject: Elvis Presley.
Topic: Elvis Presley. He has like 20 or some gospel albums, and like I don't remember how the quote went, but he said like there's a period. It might have been part of the movie, but there's a period like where he didn't really know what he liked. Oh, it was in the movie where like, oh, you gotta do what you like, sing what you love.
Yeah.
And during that period, he did like that comeback black leather suit.
Yeah.
He did that, but he also did gospel, like, and he did like 20 or some gospel albums.
Yes.
And he said like, whenever he did gospel, that's like his favorite. Like, it brought him back, sort of thing. So it's just like that connection of Christian Jesus music.
Right.
Like there's something there.
But the weird thing is that I have no connection to like Christian music.
Yeah.
Or to, it's just like now that when I hear people singing like, I'm like, oh God, take me away.
I think you gotta just like lose yourself.
Yeah.
With that. And
Shout out to Eminem. You gotta lose yourself. Oh.
Shout out Eminem.
Should we?
I think he's good now.
I mean, like, but was he ever good?
Yes.
Yeah, he was probably really good.
I think he's probably like one of the most ethical rappers.
Whoa. What do you mean?
You don't think so?
How so?
Oh no.
Like, wait, what does ethical mean?
What does ethical mean?
Do you mean like you're saying like as far as his contribution to
I think his content is more like he sucks. Like, I'm a horrible person. Like, this is my thoughts. Whereas like a lot of unethical rappers are like, I kill people. I'm not bad. I'm just doing what I got to do.
But he said that. He's like, I stab people in the eyelids.
Did he actually, or is he just like saying it?
Well, he rapped that.
But did he actually do that?
Oh no.
I think that's his thing though. Is just like be incredibly disgusting for fun.
Yeah, but what's the difference between that and Lil Durk was like, shoot a guy in the head,
because
don't even wipe a tear off my face.
Wipe two. I think
or any other any other
action-
rapper that doesn't do what they're saying.
They don't do that. Are you sure they're not in gangs? I think if they're in gangs, it's like you're complacent. I mean, this movie, like they said, like, oh, the men, even though they didn't do it, they're aware of it, so they're guilty, technically.
So okay, so what if even though Eminem didn't stab his ex-wife in the eye, he knows of hundreds of white males that have done that because of going insane. So he's complacent towards that.
But I don't think that's the same. I think that's like knowing. I think it's different from being like in a gang who like actively does it, and you're like, oh, my buddy's about to go kill 8 people.
Okay.
For the gang.
Okay.
Or Eminem's like, oh, my neighbor, I guess I heard he stabbed his wife in the eye. I don't like him anymore. I think that's obviously like it's like a spectrum of evil. Like, what's the word? Like, what's the, like, we talked about this before about there's nothing ethical that you're doing.
Yes.
I think like that. Like, I'm like allowing myself to draw a line. Like,
okay,
Eminem's good. at a point. Like it's obviously there's still a little evil in there,
Sure.
but I think being part of a gang that like crosses the line. You're in that evil territory where it's like, all right, you kind of went too far.
It's funny because like in the in the late 90s, well, when Eminem was first coming up, he would be considered the most unethical rapper.
But is it because he did all that, or because like he said things that people hated?
Because he was saying, like, he was basically horror rapping,
Yeah,
and people loved it.
yeah,
And moms were like, my little white 10-year-old is listening to this and loves it.
yeah. But like, there's movies that are doing that too. Like,
True.
Freddy, no, Jason. What's the
Yeah.
Michael Myers? Halloween.
Yes.
Jesus. Pretty unethical movie, but it's all just
But what I'm saying is, I understand that, but it's still very comparable to gangster rap, because you're still you're still spewing these thoughts to people, and they might want to do the same thing. It's just a different demographic. You're not doing it to the hood demographic. You're doing it to the white hood demographic who are drinking Mountain Dew
yes,
and hate their mom.
yes. But I don't think many things actually.
How did we get to that? From we're talking about. You said a side note because of
Elvis Presley,
and Elvis Presley.
gospel,
Oh yeah,
rap,
gospel, and I said I had no gospel growing up, and then somehow we went to Eminem.
women talking.
Women talking though.
This time, just men talking.
Men talking. One of the things I love about this, or one of the scenes I love, is when the Salam character, who's always talking about fighting, she gives this impassioned monologue about how she would do anything to save her daughter. And
she gets beat up.
what?
She gets beat up
At that moment?
eventually.
No. That's the Marika character. She's
Okay.
the one that says, like, we should stay, right?
Okay.
And her husband comes back and she gets beat up.
Yeah.
The Claire Foy character, who is Salam, she's the one that's advocating for fighting.
I thought there's two that were fighters.
No. Anyways,
Okay.
the Salam character is like, I would rip people to shreds. I would rip them. I wouldn't even think about killing them.
Okay.
If they do something to my daughter, right? And that speech was like, even though maybe you don't align with your thoughts, I'm like, I get it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I actually might align with your thoughts now.
I got a dog. I get it.
And my question to you is, out of all of the characters, or maybe
Rooney Mara. That's me.
you think so?
Yeah. Shouldn't I choose the guy, actually, ethically?
Wait, what? I didn't
Shouldn't
hear
I
you.
choose the guy? Because you're going to say, like, who aligns?
No. Out of those, yeah. Out of the women, who do you agree with the most? And it's the Rooney Mara character,
Yeah.
Ona, because she's like most realistic, level-headed, and
Yeah. She seemed peaceful, too. Like,
yes,
even if it was something horrible. I think that's the end goal of, like, whatever trauma anyone ever goes through. Like, you got to, at a point, realize how bad it was and then come to terms with it and then eventually find some sort of peace.
I agree with you, and I feel the same way as you as far as the character that I would choose, because I do feel like when push comes to shove, I love that phrase. When push comes to shove.
When push comes to shove.
What?
It's like visualizing it so you can see, like, more visceral.
Yeah, but I just didn't. I feel like your acting was a little spotty there.
It's like push, like, shove. What the?
When push comes to, I don't love that phrase anymore. When push comes to shove, I am most likely gonna be like the pacifist,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't really know until you're in a situation.
I feel like I'd run no matter what. Like, if we're like having that discussion, I'm like, let's dip.
Yeah,
Deuces.
but you don't have the lived experience of someone hurting a significant person to you.
True.
So it's very hard for you to say what you'll do, even though you know your personality, right?
Yeah.
Even all of that. Because my wife asked me, like, what would you do? Who would you stay with you? Or what would you do if that happened to your daughter? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I've always said I'll forgive people, but I don't know what I would do in this situation. Especially if they're, like, right in front of me. Like, a good sock to the chin.
I would never. I think like anyone who's I know it's not the same, but anyone who I'm like I see and I realize like, oh, you're not a good person sort of thing. I'm like, okay, bye. Like mentally.
Yeah.
You don't get to enjoy who I am anymore, sort of thing.
What if I just had like this crazy I just imagined you walking up to like a new coworker and they're talking to you. They're like, you're like, hi, my name is Ivan. And they're like, hi, my name is Stefan. And they're like, oh, hi, Stefan. And they're like, so tell me a little bit about yourself. You ask them. And they're like talking. And like, just from like tonal inflections.
You know,
10 seconds in, you're like, hold that thought. And you
Okay.
just walk away.
I don't do that so graphically, but I do that. Like, because there's like things in conversation where like they say things and you understand their mentality.
Yeah.
Like if they say like, "Oh, I'm here for money," like super
Yeah.
general, like nobody says that.
Yeah.
Like, "Oh, I'm here just for money."
Yeah.
Like instantly, "Oh, I know what you are.
Mm-hmm.
You're not for me,"
Yes.
sort of thing. And then at that point, I'm like, oh, "Okay." And then next time, like after that conversation's over, like that was it. You lost it.
You had me,
Yeah.
but now you don't.
Yep.
There's like what was it? A podcast, Joe Rogan, when his friends are talking about him and they're like, Joe's crazy. Like, he has this thing where like if he doesn't like you, he'll be like, I don't like you, and he just walks away. Like the guy was saying of a time that they were having a convo with like one of his friends, and Joe was there, and the guy was talking and he lied for some reason, and Joe's like, I don't like you, you're a liar, and he just walked away.
That's where I want to be eventually. I don't think I'd say I don't like you. I'm like, oh, okay. And then like that's it. Like,
Yeah.
I would be a ghost.
Yeah.
I'd be gone.
Imagine you just like
Just like flood up.
disappear.
Where'd he go?
I guess he doesn't like me. Yeah. But there's even like the Ona character, who is supposedly like the most reasonable character. They ask her, can you forgive the people that did this to us?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, maybe. But even her, she's
Could be.
like, I don't know. And her reasoning is like, technically, they're not at fault.
Yeah.
The people that did this to us are not at fault because they came from a system that instilled this on them, right?
Yeah.
And that's like my viewpoint on life too. Whenever I see like someone that's messed up, I'm like, well, they were kids once and they had dreams and aspirations, but they had a shitty
They
childhood.
weren't born evil. They were made evil.
Yes. But there are people who are like born evil just because of like the chemicals in their brain were not set up correctly.
Tangent.
Love
Rebuttal. Tangent / rebuttal.
Subject, Elvis Presley.
Subject, Elvis. In Mindhunter, there's like that was like a small plot point with one of the detective's son, because he was asking like, how do I know if it's something I did or if it's something that he was born with? And then like someone else is like, no, it's even if he is like this, you have the power to like form him into somebody good.
Yes.
Even if he is this, if he has the capability to be Ted Bundy or whatever. So that's my rebuttal.
Right. Even though someone is, but I even think there's like outliers to that too.
Well, yeah.
Like, there's gonna be like out of the million people who are mentally damaged coming out of the womb, 5 of them, no matter what you do, are gonna be psychotic.
I think like a million things have to go wrong before it's like, oh, serial killer.
Oof. So you don't think even 5?
No, like I think a lot of things have to go wrong before you get to the point where it's
Interesting. I guess I don't know enough, but I feel like there has to be one that's just like no matter how loving or how much the mom or dad are there, like I just want to stab you.
I don't think that. I think there was something like
Interesting.
that happened. Even if the parents are like, I don't know what happened. Maybe they don't know, but like maybe one summer, like a dog, like they just stabbed a dog, or like a dog stabbed them, or something stupid.
I think it's more like the families that say I don't know, or they might not know, but it's because they're ignorant
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't realize like watching horror movies in front of
It could be that.
a kid was a bad idea.
Yeah.
A kid on the edge was a bad idea, I should say.
Could be.
A great scene is the August character, the one man who speaks in this film. When they ask him like,
Where is he from? What movie?
I only know because I looked it up.
Skyfall.
Yeah,
Trash.
he was good, huh? Like a
Yeah.
complete character switch.
Oh no, he's a little too sissy for me.
Soy boy.
He's a little soy boy. Like that's like the one gripe I had. Like, is he the solution? This pipsqueak that I could just break in half?
Yeah.
Like, where's? I'm not saying like we need a man, but
Right.
like, is this
He's-
is this
yeah.
is the ideal? You want this?
I don't. Well, that's.
You want this?
I think that's like the very negative way to look at it.
Yeah, I think he's in like there's like a transformation period where technically he is the ideal because everyone else kind of sucks. So there's like nothing else, and I think eventually there will be like some middle meeting of this dude, this wimpy boy, with the bad one, where it's like in the middle. they
Yeah.
meet, where it's
Yeah, I think-
good traits and then the bad traits are gone, where he's not like too sissy.
I'll give it to you. Like he was a little bit like artificially created to be this sissy. Because making him like this, making him so feminine making him so feminine and like so vulnerable
Yeah,
makes it more interesting.
I don't even, not even the vulnerable. I think like just how he acted felt like ooh, ee,
Vulnerable.
ee.
Yeah.
But not vulnerable. Like you can be like
Yeah.
strong vulnerable.
True. But he's like papyrus vulnerable.
Yeah.
Like if you blow at him, like he might die.
Ooh. Like Mr. Burns. Ee. Ooh.
Yeah. Mr. Burns was very sickly.
Yeah.
But a scene where they wanted his opinion on like the age, that the cutoff age of which boys to take. I think that was a great scene because they're like, what do you think? Should we take 14-year-old boys? Like, are they dangerous? And they're like, yeah, they're pretty dangerous.
Like what?
And I was like, oh, damn. But like he does a complete 180.
Yeah.
And he's like, they're dangerous, but they're
moldable.
moldable. They have
Yeah.
they're inquisitive. They have this, they have that. He's like, yeah, you should take them. And I was like, damn, that was a good scene of how like he pitched that to them.
Yeah.
Um,
Pitching boys.
oh yeah. What do you think? So the August character, who is the man in the movie, he's there to take the minutes, who's basically document the whole conversation, right? What do you think the purpose of that was? Like, they sort of say it in the movie.
I think like history, no?
Uh-huh.
That's what I thought.
Like a documented history of what happened.
Yeah. Like ideally museum, the day women talked.
Right.
Sort of
Right.
thing.
Yeah, I guess I could see that too. The teenage girls in this, we talked about them earlier, but they're in the background and they're like kind of like playing around. At
Yeah.
times they too feel sad, but most of the time they're just like, "Can we leave?"
Yeah.
Like literally, "Can we leave here? 'Cause like this is dumb."
I think I just thought of this, but like there's like that saying like children are like the most intelligent people ever because they don't have like the millions of thoughts that were just put in already,
Right.
and like already they're like, let's just leave
Yes.
from the beginning,
Yes.
and they're just like so logical to them.
Yes.
It's just funny to see like children are technically right.
Yeah. And yes, like there's two sides to that. They were right the whole time. They should have left a lot earlier, but I think the message that, or like the reason the women had to talk is because they never have a chance to talk.
Right.
And they never had a chance to even like form opinions, right?
Mm.
So for them to even do this is very important, and to put it on screen is, I think, the most important thing, right?
Right.
Um, let me read a review for you.
A sublime script, a merely good movie.
From the New Yorker by our boy Richard Brody. Ivan, are you ready to get mad?
Probably gonna agree with him.
It says, Women Talking reviewed. A sublime script, a merely very good movie. Sarah Polley's adaptation of Miriam Toews' novel doesn't entirely do justice to its powerful source material. The exceptional, often overwhelming power of the script that Polley wrote based on Miriam Toews' novel is, if not undercut, not amplified by the filming. Polley's script is, for the most part, uncompromisingly original and forthrightly distinctive. The images and performances, which I consider a function of directing, are, although skillful and sincere, conventional.
Like every time I hate critics more and more.
The very idea of woman talking, its rootedness in its text, its depiction of language as a source of transformative historic power, as a basis of inner and outer liberation, is radical. The filming of the film, its relationship to image and performances, its dramaturgy are not radical. As a result, the movie remains more of an admirable idea, an ambitious ideal, than an experience.
I agree with him. Wow.
To Richard Brody, you say?
Here, here. I mean, I get like it's not. I kind of agree with it not being radical, but it just feels tough to say that. Like it doesn't feel right saying that.
Yeah.
Because it technically is. Like I haven't seen a movie like this.
Yeah.
And also, if it wasn't radical, then I think a lot of these issues would have been solved. But there's still such a big issue. Maybe not this bad, or maybe that it is that bad. I don't know. I can't speak from experience.
Right.
It just feels it needs a different word from radical.
Yeah, I think the issue too is that I don't know if it's an issue or not, but he's comparing the radicalness of the book to how radical is the movie as radical as the book?
Does he mean cool, you think? Like, oh, radical.
No, I hope that'd be pretty cool, actually. But so we have no idea about the book, so we can't even say.
I don't even like that. Like, I don't think you should compare too hard. Like,
well, it goes back to last week what we were saying, right? You're like, how are they comparing The Whale to like other movies? Like, your whole thing is like, just take the movie,
yeah,
and don't compare it to movies from 50 years ago.
I think it's fine if you're like, you prefer the book or whatever than the movie. But
Harry Potter.
But I don't think it's fine to say like the book's better than the movie. Like maybe it is, but like if you have 7 hours to tell a story with as much detail and like beauty ever, it's gonna be better.
Mm-hmm.
And like with reading, you get the power of like people can imagine the most amazing story ever.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put the words down. Like my imagination's better than a movie.
Right.
Of course, the book's gonna be better.
Right.
It's just like you can't compare all these things.
Yeah. Cool. Ivan, let's rate this movie. Out of 5 cigarettes.
Out of 5 women
No, I
talking.
don't objectify women right now.
Oh,
Out of 5
right.
cigarettes, because they smoke a cigarette in this movie. How many cigarettes is this?
give it a 4.
I'll give it a 4.25.
Trying to get some brownie points, I guess.
I love me some brownies. So, women, if you know how to cook brownies,
Oh,
hey, Adrian, go to hell. You're right. Ivan, it's time for a section called Things and Such. Sorry. Ivan, it's time for a section called
things and such.
Took your thunder.
You can't.
What's going on in the world, Ivan?
I don't know. What is?
Oh, DC movies.
I thought you would never ask.
James Gunn and his co-director, whoever they are, they're like, we got some movies for you.
What'd they call it? Like DC Chapter 1?
Chapter 1, Gods and Monsters.
Way better than Phases.
Woo!
Come on, Phase.
Ivan's excited for this. So they announced a new Superman movie, a new Batman movie, a new Swamp Thing movie, a new movie called The Authority, which I have no idea what it's about.
Bunch of shows.
A new Creature, was it Creature something?
Mandalorian show.
Green Lantern.
Lanterns.
Green Lantern show called The Lanterns. Ivan, are you excited about any of this?
All of it.
Why?
Probably gonna be good.
You think so? There's like
So long. 2023, Chapter 1. Jesus Christ.
Ivan, you're gonna grow out of it one day.
No. If
You
I
will.
grow out of it, kill me. Kill me.
All right,
Shoot
you
me.
heard that, people. The thing that I'm interested in is that they're not adapting, quote unquote, but they're like taking ideas, inspirations from some like storylines and graphic novels,
Good.
and some of the more I should say like kind of like genre defying ones, right? So there's like the Batman one that they're taking from Grant Morrison. There's like another Grant Morrison one that they're taking from Superman, which is exciting for me because Grant Morrison hasn't really been tapped into as far as DC, so that's good. And then there's the Wonder Woman one, which is also it's actually a book that I liked, a comic book that I picked up this past year that I liked. So I'm like, oh, that's gonna be cool if they're taking cues from that. It was interesting to hear him say like that, because like James Gunn is talking like from the hip now, where like you don't hear our boy Feige talk like that.
Yeah.
And he's like, DC was kind of a shit show before me,
Yeah.
and I'm here to wrangle things.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to hear that.
Honesty is the best policy.
Anything else about that?
It's gonna be good.
Okay.
Batman Part 2. It's
Batman
cool
Part
that
2.
it's separate. Like they didn't try like, how do we fit this into this? They're like, let's just do both.
I think they wouldn't have done both if the Batman wasn't successful.
Yeah, but it was. So shut up. Now.
So is The Flash still coming out? Is Aquaman 2 coming out? Are those still things?
Next question.
Oh God.
I think they are. I think it's like churn out the last of them and like cut off the turd.
We got the turtle. Squeeze. Yeah, there it is. What else? Anything else? There's probably like stuff that I'm completely missing. I just didn't write it here because I was a little sick. Ivan, time for a section called "What's on the Telly." Watch the last episode of The Last of Us.
Chef's kiss. So good.
It's good, right?
What's your problem with it?
No,
Tell me.
nothing.
Oh, okay.
Nothing.
You homophobic? Is that what it is?
Homophobe. No, it's good.
Really good.
It was good. Didn't expect that. Was happy with it. I like it too because it's last week I was basically saying that I can kind of predict zombie things. Like,
Yes.
I know where things go, And doing this was like, oh, I didn't expect that, and it was good.
That's why you should shut up.
Okay. What's that guy's name?
Nick Offerman?
Yeah, what a guy! What a good guy, right?
What a graham cracker of a man.
There it is. I also watched Poker Face.
Good?
It's good.
I don't know.
I watched the first episode, and it was really good.
Okay.
There's 4 episodes out already, I think, or 5. I'm gonna watch the second episode. It's just good.
What's it about?
It's gonna be like every episode is a new detective, like figure out what
Monster
happened.
of the week.
Yeah, who done it? But what's good about it is that it's just like well executed, and
Funny? Is it?
it's funny, but it's very like, oh, what's gonna happen next?
Okay.
How's she gonna get out of this type of thing? And the first episode has Adrian Brody, and he's so
It's a
good.
little heavy hitter, huh?
I think he got like, I think what I'm scared is like that the first episode is really good, and the rest are like gonna be okay.
I feel like that time is over. Where it's like, I think now we're getting into an era where good things are just gonna be made. I can't see Netflix surviving much longer. Well, they're gonna survive.
This isn't Netflix though.
No, I just generally.
Okay.
Like
This is
'cause
Peacock, by the way.
yeah, Netflix is kind of the worst at this. Just, well, we got this guy who made this, and he wants to do something. Let's give him $8 billion to do.
How much does he want? 2 billion? No, let's give him $8 billion.
To start. We could go up if he wants.
More money, better content.
Pretty much. But I think that era is ending. Where they're gonna be smarter with spending. Not Netflix though.
What else have you watched? Nothing?
Not really anything. No.
I watched a movie called The Sting. It's on Netflix. It's from like 1970 something. It's with Robert Redford and
James Caan.
no, what's that guy that you watched? No, it's not him. Oh, I can't believe I forget his name. Paul Newman. It was like, it's just like a classic movie, and it was so good. It's basically about a con man who basically pulls off a con on the wrong person, and the guy gets revenge by killing one of his friends, and now he's like, I'm gonna even con you so hard. So he gets like a whole group of people, and they're gonna pull off, what is it, the Great Con.
Wow.
And the whole thing is like, how are they gonna pull it off? And every step you're just like, oh.
Who's the Connor?
Robert Redford and they team up, and Paul Newman.
So who's the Connie?
I don't know who. I think he's actually the bad guy in what's Mel Brooks' cowboy movie? Blazing Saddles. I think he's the bad guy in that movie, if you remember him.
Yeah, I recall his face barely.
So good. I would highly it's just, and it's like
Netflix?
it's Netflix. It's Chicago in the 1930s, 1920s.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, and it's just like, what is it about the like movies in the 60s, 70s that you can only get old people to act? Like if you had someone that's 20-year old acting, it's just not possible.
I feel like people were a lot more stupid back then.
Okay, elaborate.
No. It's just tough to see, like, because, I mean, we have, like, 19-year-old Hollywood stars who are like, oh, I read this philosopher at 5 sort of thing. And that's, like, the norm now.
Gotcha.
Whereas back then, I think it was Like, oh, let's get drunk and do this. And I heard my buddy has a movie.
Gotcha.
Let's just do it.
So you need it. I think it's also about seniority. Like you needed to
Yeah.
pay so many dues before you can like do anything.
Yeah.
Great movie. The Sting. Highly recommend. I also watched Matilda, the new Matilda movie on
Is it a musical?
Netflix. It's a musical. That's the only reason like I can't recommend it. But it's really good because it's stylized, and the girl playing Matilda is so good. She's just like, she looks literally 5 years old, and she's delivering monologues. She's acting, she's singing, she's dancing. I'm like, dang, these guys are good.
Ain't better than the movie.
The original? I don't know. It is, technically it is. But since it's a musical, it's not for me. I think I watched something else. That's it. Ivan, it's time for a section called Really Be Bussin'. You ready for this? Lil Yachty's new album.
I was barely aware that existed. Like I saw it, like news sort of thing, but it just like I picked up remnants of it existing.
I would have a better review if I wasn't sick, but I just heard it wasn't that good. And
What?
it's like I guess it's a psychedelic rock album. My issue is that he's at a disadvantage because like he can't. I don't think he played an instrument.
He's at a disadvantage because he's not talented, to be honest.
And the idea is like, okay, let me venture into a new thing, right?
Yeah.
But if you're gonna venture into a new thing, you need a lot of help. If you're Lil Yachty, right?
Whoa.
Whereas like
Lay into him.
if Kendrick did this, like at least he can be like very lyrical and maybe sing a little bit better.
Yeah.
But when you have like Lil Yachty just like barely say anything and like have other people strum along, and I don't know how much cred to give to anyone.
Yeah, I feel like the process for him was like, oh, I kind of like how, what's the genre again?
Psychedelic rock.
Psychedelic rock sounds. I should do an album. And then with the usual rap process is like, let me get 30 beats from Metro, 20 beats from C Note, and then I'll pick and choose. But then he did that for this, like, oh, let me get 20 beats from this psychedelic rock producer. And like, I just don't think that translates at all.
But what if it was more, even if it was like, let me get an actual session band and a real producer and let's just vibe out.
I think,
but I feel like the issue there is like all he's doing is like providing vocals, and even his vocals aren't like.
he needs to, I mean, I don't think he's mastered rap, but I think if you're going to go into that, you have to like take a class at least, read a book about like, you have to learn like the ins and outs, like 1% of the ins and outs before you even attempt to start almost about to nearly think about it. I was like running out of adjectives.
Yeah, I understand that.
But I don't know his process, but I think with Kendrick,
you doubt, yeah.
Yeah, Kendrick with jazz or whatever that was, I
Funk.
assume like he kind of knows some of it,
Yeah,
but he also knows he doesn't know anything,
yeah,
sort of thing. So he probably got the best people who like,
right. He got Flying Lotus. He got Thundercat. He got
yeah.
Kamasi Washington.
And I'm sure like he talked through the lyrics like, does this lay well onto this jazz
Right.
track? Or Yachty's like, this sounds good, let me just rap over it,
Yeah.
or whatever he did,
Yeah.
which is not the same thing.
Anyways, Baby Tron. Have you heard of him?
Sadly,
The thing about Detroit rapping, it's like
it's in Detroit.
I went to the store the other day. I had Gatorade. Gatorade is good. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's very like cut and paste. Like you do 2 lines and then you do your 2 lines right after that, and then you 2 lines right after that.
That sounds like how I thought rapping was when I was in 5th grade.
Uh huh.
Or like even basic poetry. Like that's like how poetry was in like 5th grade. Like, oh, time for poetry today. Here's how you do it. Make sure the last 2 words rhyme. And then on the next one, that first word, make sure it rhymes with the second one again.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep doing that. Do that 10 times, you have a poem. That's like how it was taught. So it sounds like that's what you're describing.
No, I guess what I'm describing is like he goes into the booth and says, "Today I went to the market. I wish I would have went to the park it." And he's like, "That sounds good. Now say another 2 lines, right?" And then what they do in editing is that they cut out all the gap between that. So it sounds like he's like but
Right.
you can hear that like
Edit.
not the edit. Well, you can hear the
The
edit.
lack of sound you hear.
Yeah, you can hear that he's so fresh
Yeah.
after the first 2 bars. Like he's obviously like stopping and coming back, stopping and coming back.
Okay.
And that to me is off-putting, but
Mhm.
that's Detroit rapping, I think. Like even Lil Yachty has that too. He has that style too.
I mean, it's a style. Like I don't want to say like, oh, that's bad rapping,
Right.
because like it's almost like a collage, which collage is art.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But
To me, it's off-putting.
yeah,
That's what it is. But in any case, the Babytron album, I listened to it. I like it.
All right.
It's not revolutionary, but I'm trying something different. Okay. You haven't listened to anything, I could tell. Are you like off mute? Like you don't even listen to music?
It depends on like what I want. Like I'm super, not really, but if I have like I think of a song like, oh, let me do a radio of that song, and it's like the same vibe.
Ah, gotcha.
But it just depends what I'm doing. Like I've been in car, like a podcast, Conan O'Brien,
Conan's your buddy right now?
best podcast around.
I actually subscribed to it, but I didn't listen to enough. So I'll listen to one.
It's
one
good.
of these days.
Just find one like, oh, I like Kevin Hart.
Do you listen to his latest ones, or you look for old ones that you like?
Both. If like I already listened to the latest one and I want to keep listening, I go scroll through.
Who was the best latest one?
Latest?
Or what was the last best thing you?
Because he's pretty good consistently.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. It helps if you know the guy, but like even the ones I don't know, I enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like his latest that I watched with Timothy Oliphant. Do you know him?
Yes.
They're like pretty good friends in real life, so it has like good.
Barbs.
Yeah, and he's like funny, and he talks about movies too.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was in Once Upon a Time.
Yep.
Talks a little bit about that.
Gotcha.
But it's all good.
Okay.
Like just any of them. Even like I was scared to go back because it's like 2020. That's old.
Oh man.
He's still
They're
learning.
oldies.
Yeah, but like he's also been in the industry, the conversation industry,
Right.
for 20 years. So even his first attempt is literally better than every other podcaster's millionth.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're trying to get there. 20 years, baby. Ivan, any parting words for the beautiful people?
No.
Well, we'll be back next week with another episode of Peliculas with the Bros. We'll be talking about Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan film. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Peace out.
Bye.